As I've been sitting here thinking about this fight, I've noticed a couple things. Number one is I've been thinking about it a little bit longer than I think about most fights. And part of that is the reason is that I'm a huge Manny Pacquiao fan. So it's like as I begin to think about this fight, then naturally I start to think about some of the past fights that he's had, some of the great ones and the memories and all the things that I was doing while those fights were going on and everything else, right? It's a little bit nostalgic and a little bit going down memory lane. And the other one, if I'm being perfectly honest with myself, is because I'm just trying to find a way for this man to come out victorious. And I can't, I can't. 46 years old. Pacquiao's been retired for 4 years now. And before that, we hadn't seen him in the ring for 2 years. And let's be honest with each other. When we did see him in the ring, would we call that one of his better performances? Would we say that that was a night that he was operating at his highest level? I mean, not even close, right? Last time we saw this dude operating at his highest level was over a decade ago. Okay, when we think about the Manny Pacquiao that smoked David Diaz or Oscar De La Hoya or Cotto or Margarito or Claudio or any of these dudes that he was just destroying while he was going on his run, none of those are anything that we would call recent memory. These are, man, when we're talking about boxing, it may as well be a lifetime ago, but it's over 10 years ago. All of these fights, 15 years ago, things like that when we're looking at it. It doesn't fare well for a boxer. It particularly doesn't fare very well for a boxer at the world-class level. And then on top of that, you think about the style that Manny implemented. Okay, his style was built off of explosiveness and speed. Being able to catch your opponent. There were times when guys would come out and say, like, we know what he's going to do. I remember Nazeem Richardson was like, Manny Pacquiao isn't all that creative. He isn't all that deceitful in the sense that he's out there trying to trick you. He doesn't have a lot of tricks in his bag where he's trying to pull them out and all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I didn't expect him to do that. That's not the case with Manny. Everybody pretty much knew what Manny was going to do. The thing was nobody could stop it. And it was because of the explosiveness and the speed and the power and the footwork that he had. Those are all things that are in the past, man. Those are all things that Father Time comes for first. And I hate to say it, because I've mentioned many times, and I'll say it again, I'm a huge Manny Pacquiao fan. Huge. And what I expect to go happen when he goes out there against Mario Barrios on Saturday night isn't going to be pretty. Now, I don't think he's going to get knocked out. One of the things that nobody talks about is the chin that man has. Manny Pacquiao has been caught with some hellacious punches over the years. Stood up to all of them. All of them except one. We saw what happened against Marquez. But I mean, look, that shot. Marquez would have knocked out an elephant with that one. But above and beyond that, Mario Barrios has got power, but he's not some, vicious puncher. And Manny, he's got ring IQ and he knows how to survive, and he can coast in the later stages of fights if he needs to, and find ways to stay on his feet and not get stopped. One of the things that I've always said is when you get a world-class fighter, if he makes up his mind that he's no longer trying to win the fight, he's out there and he's just going to try to survive, it is incredibly hard to go out there and knock that man out, right? Typically you need somebody to go out there and be making an effort to really try to get after it and be aggressive, and then you're going to be able to catch him, you're going to be able to do some damage. So should things get really ugly, my guess is that's what we'd see from Manny, right? He'd just drop it down a gear, put it in the survival mode. He'd be able to coast and be able to get the 12-round decision because Mario Barrios is, like I said, he's not a vicious puncher or some kind of ferocious finisher anyway, so I don't think it would go that way. But I don't expect him to win this fight. I don't expect, maybe for the first 2 rounds, 3 rounds, maybe. He looks a little bit like the old Manny. He's on his toes. He's moving around a little bit. He's getting off of the center line, landing that left hand, spinning Barrios and making him turn. I mean, Barrios has never been a defensive guru, so he's going to be there to be hit in that regard. He keeps his hand up. He's defensively responsible. But look, if this fight was happening in 2015, 2014, 2013, 2012, anything along those lines, Manny Pacquiao would be an overwhelming favorite. Overwhelming, wouldn't even be close. As it stands now, we're looking at Barrios minus 300, Barrios minus 330, 335, 350, things like that. He is the guy who is the significant favorite. So I don't think Vegas is wrong on this one. Not only do I not think they're wrong, I still think there's value in that line, okay? Because I think it's going to be very difficult for Manny to be able to come out victorious on this one. I mean, what's he going to do? Is he going to stop him? He's going to go out there and he's going to be the Manny Pacquiao of old and he's going to put on a show and get this dude out of there in like the 8th round? No, it's not going to happen. And make no mistake about it, when he was at his prime, he wasn't smoking dudes in the first and the second. That performance that we saw against Ricky Hatton was the outlier. Pac-Man was never out there some ferocious one-punch finisher, okay? He would beat on dudes. He would demoralize them and he would beat on them and he would have combinations along with a very solid punch, and that's how he would get dudes out of there later on in the rounds, later on in the fight, okay? That's how he would do guys. That's not how he's even going to be able. That's not how he's even able to do Barrios, right? So if he was to win this fight, it would be by decision. Do you think that he can go out there and win this fight over the course of 12 rounds by decision, win 7 rounds, or drop Barrios or something like that? I just don't see it happening, man. And even if you do, what's the percentage? A 10% chance, a 15% chance? So like I was saying, Vegas isn't always right, but they're right on this one. And not only that, I think there's value to be had in that line. And then it'll likely be the last fight of Manny Pacquiao's career, which I thought the last one was going to be the last fight of his career. So let me know what you guys think. Am I underestimating him? I wish that I was. I wish that there was something there that all of a sudden at the very end I picked out and I was able to find a way in which Manny could really come out victorious in this one. Like he really had a true path to victory. But other than Mario Barrios just not showing up and really performing at a level far below what we were used to seeing him at, I don't see a 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao going out there and being able to get this one done. Let me know what you guys think.